Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance Policy Perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliates.
Mike and Felicia Sparks, owner of the Vanity Zone Salon, want to invite you to stop in for your next haircut or color. Their stylists Michelle, Tori, Tracy, Brandy, Sarah, and Gail offer the best creative cuts and color for all ages, for men and women. The Vanity Zone is located at 732 Nissan Drive in Smyrna, to the right of the Crystals Restaurant. To look and feel your best, visit the Vanity Zone Salon today. Call 615-355-1721 to book your next appointment.
Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we treat your vehicle like it's one of our own. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
Been coming to them ever since he opened up. Good family. I recommend other people to get them repaired here because I knew they would do it and do it right. Been happy to send people to him because I trust what he does so much.
We're crazy about him. It's all about the doctor.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right. Listen to Conversation Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. Connor, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, brother. Got your Christmas shopping done?
I did, actually. Yesterday.
That's good. How's that book coming along you're reading?
I finished it.
Oh, you did? Good for you. Tell us about the book.
Sorry, I'm never on the air, but now I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good book. I liked it. It was one of the only books I read and kind of knew how it ended. Usually you don't know the ending of the book when you read it.
What was the name of the book?
Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's about?
Vance.
The now about to be vice president in like 4 some odd weeks.
You excited?
Yeah.
That's good. So you voted for Trump?
I won't say on the air just because it's like my job. So I don't want to be like, I can't be like, I don't think I can be biased, so I won't say it.
Did you watch that movie, Mike?
I have. No, we watched a little bit of it.
It's actually really good.
Is it? Mm-hmm. My wife had the Reagan movie on last night. I can't sit still and watch a movie. I get too restless. But no, Connor, that's good. You know, you think young people like yourself, I mean, are conservative or have common sense? I mean, what do you think about your generation?
Common sense, I don't know about that.
Common sense. I wish Tiffany was here. I was inviting her to come up. She's been sick a little bit. You know, she's gonna be my intern in Nashville.
Yeah, she told me about that.
Yeah, she may not want me sharing on the radio though. But anyways, I'm excited about it. We'll get a lot of work out of her. I just hope she knows how to make some coffee. You know what I mean?
Does that? That'll be. That's all she needs to know.
She's probably listening right now. Roger Thomas with me. Sam Davis home. How you doing, Roger?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
And Jeremy, our faithful intern. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, Connor.
Appreciate you doing the drums at church.
Yeah.
You know?
We didn't do. Obviously, I wasn't up there today because I was. They had the little cantata.
Christmas.
The Christmas
celebrate. It was really good.
It was good. It was very good.
Man, the choir, man, they were really. I mean, they really were good.
Oh yeah.
Not that they're not good at other days, but they were really good. I'm not kidding you.
I'll tell you what. I do love hearing the when they bring up the little kids choir. It's really hearing kids sing.
Oh, I'm not saying. I mean, it really was, especially when you get them little ones up there. Oh, yeah. What's the Brother Hazard's daughter's name? The little one. Yeah.
His youngest. Chloe.
It is Chloe, isn't it?
Is it Chloe?
You know, I talk about. Tell me how cool this is. I talk about weird. I call them guy wink moments. I mean, I don't. They're very coincidental, and even Albert Einstein said coincidences are God's way of remaining anonymous, and so I kind of refer to them as synchronicities or guy wink moments. But they were over at our business. Angie, Hazard, the pastor's wife, and little Chloe, and I just happened to pop in. I was kind of hanging out, and somehow I mentioned, "Are you working with your daughter on music?" Like that, and she kind of looked at me kind of, it's kind of an odd question, like you need, because this little girl's got a lot of talent, she's just very loving, got a great personality. Oh, how old is she? 7, 6, 8? Somewhere in there. Okay. Maybe like 7, maybe 8. And so she says, the mom says, she wants to, she said, yeah, I said, if I were you, I'd get her a guitar, and I'd have her learning guitar like that. And she said, yeah, she become big Van Halen fan. And guess what happened? The music was in the background. Guess what happened?
Van Halen.
Van Halen, come on. I was like, this is crazy. And
what song was playing?
I was like, this is wild. And I don't remember what the song was, but I was like, man, what's the odds of Van Halen coming on when I'm talking about Van Halen put a little guitar in this girl's hands. And but we had music, as you're a musician. I mean, music's a powerful tool for
it is very
for mental health. And I texted about 5 people last night. I bet they all thought that dude's been drinking, because I sent a text, and I don't drink, for the record. But I was listening to The Clash. You ever listen to The Clash?
Yeah.
Well, I just finished, my history of music.
Mm-hmm. How'd you do?
Man, I passed it. I mean, I was asking people for prayer.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 10 pastors praying for me, because he made it sound like it was going to be so hard. Professor Caress, great guy, history of the music industry.
Yeah, no, doctor. I think he's actually doctor, but yeah, I mean, I think I had him, but he's also I had him. He's amazing.
Well, I invited him to come on the show one night, and he says, what time is it? I said, it's at 5. He said, man, I got church. I said, you're not one of them Christians, are you? I looked at him. He looked at me like, what? And I said, I'm just kidding you, man. I said, it's neat to know that you've got a professor here of music, then you're a believer. Mm-hmm. He's got a book, and I meant to get him to I've never had anybody autograph a textbook they wrote. It's kind of odd, because, textbook, the cost textbooks issue of, trying to take on as a lawmaker. But the book wasn't like $12, so it was a fair book.
Yeah.
But the picture on the front looks like Jesus. And I don't know if he did that on purpose. I need to ask him, but there's about 120 students in that class at the State Farm Lecture Hall. And it's a beautiful, obviously a beautiful facility over there. But I kept thinking when I'm taking this class, I'm like, Lord, what am I going to get out of this class? Like, usually I'm in scenarios where I'm able to get something out of it, a little tidbit of golden nugget of knowledge or wisdom or something I can apply.
What did y'all mainly talk about in that class?
Well, it was all history, recording history, but it was really like history of music industry.
Yeah.
I mean, we got in Atlantic Records, David, is it Geffner?
Yeah.
The Eagles. Mm-hmm. But we started off back in the 20s.
Yep.
And then progressing up. And but he gave us about a week to study, and I thought he was going to get into all the, we have to name the producers of this song or the music publishers. And
I took a history of the music industry, and we pretty much like what you did, what you just talked about. We went from the 20s all the way up to now. Talk about early jazz. Talk what is it?
Well, the independent music.
Independent music, yeah. Pretty much everything that
Beach Boys got into all that era, the hippie movement.
Yep.
And that's Rogers' era, the hippie movement. But
Johnny Osmond right there.
But he took and asked. So we were all ready, and I was really worried about it. It was multiple choice, which is a little easier, and he played a song, and you had to guess. But the cool thing about it was like Bob Dylan, Prince, Madonna.
He's got a movie coming out,
U2, and it was all stuff that I could connect with. That no Doobie Brothers, I was shocked. And the No Eagles, I was surprised. But what was really cool about this class, what I got out of it was that I watched how music brought people together. You know, it didn't matter if you're black, white, rich, poor, Democrat, Republican. And in my world, I'm around a lot of chaos, man. I mean, Antifa was in front of my house. I got called everything but a Caucasian during this election. George Soros spent $200,000 against me. You know, it's kind of lonely.
But you won, buddy.
Yeah, I know. But it's but you know, the music is so cool because it has a healing component to it. And during he'd play the music. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to ace this thing. And I really thought I had 100, except for the rap part. Got into the rap and Grandmaster
Slash or something like that.
And Sly, was it the Sly Family Stone? And,
oh, yes.
Yeah.
What's his name? Curtis Blow, Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
That stuff was not, I really wasn't into that.
Well,
you know.
the, I don't know if you just said you don't listen to a lot of rap, but there's been a, I'm not going to take up too much time.
Tupac, you know.
Yeah. This most recent like rap beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake and all that. It's sort of like got me digging into.
I like Drake, you know.
You like Drake?
I like. Don't he have that song out called God? How's it go?
God's
Plan.
I mean, granted, it does have good lyrics,
song.
but listen to some of these tracks in this beef. And you
oh, so he's talking about West Coast or East Coast or what? Like Biggie and
Tupac. You just have to listen to it. But anyways, it got me like researching a whole bunch of like stuff from like the 90s, because a lot of like stuff from then is sort of like having effects on the rap industry now.
Well, that's what got Tupac killed.
Yeah.
And then Biggie got killed.
I
mean, it's just
Tupac
sad of these little rivalries, and it's. But what was cool about this class is, almost got me a little tore up. The students started singing.
Yep.
During final exams, I was like, so I'm sitting up here at the top, kind of watching everybody, and I made a little Facebook. I don't know if you've seen my little Facebook. I took my camera and kind of scrolled around and played Marvin Gaye.
Yep.
What's going on? I thought it was so cool to just kind of see what the students are doing, but there was no animosity, no fighting.
No.
The professor was just a great guy. Took his time out with all the students, and I wanted to play that hymn, Mississippi Poor Boy by the Cantons, the song that they played at Casey Clark's funeral. I mean, y'all have heard me talk about Casey's funeral. Well, they got down at that funeral. I mean, they had a band come up from Alabama and play. And if you hadn't heard this hymn, folks, go to YouTube, type in Mississippi Poor Boy and by the Cantons. And I think another version is God's Been Good to Me. Man, it's a cool song, but the guy talks about how poor they were. I mean, if you hear the message, just like Tupac's Dear Mama, if you hear the message, which most people aren't going to listen to the message, his dad wasn't in his life. So he said, I never shed a tear for my dad because he never was there. Yeah. I found love in a gang. And we go back to these cultural issues today. I'd say most of these problems are the fatherless, lack of mentors, lack of a positive male role model. But it was a cool class. I mean, I made an 86. I was hoping I was going to make an A, but so technically I could have walked yesterday. I chose not to walk at MTSU this is my second degree in media, and hopefully get my graduate degree done here the next couple of years. But all my professors have been great and encouraging. Charles Whiting, Keith Claxton, my professor of stats, Dr. Eschenfelder, Christine Eschenfelder.
Bless her heart.
She's a sweetheart, so awesome, man. Yeah. Dr. Woodard, Leon Oligood, just so many good professors out there. Mark Burns, just so many. We're very blessed to have MTSU here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you think how many areas don't have a nice university out here that just has such a great organization when it comes to music.
I think by student body alone, it is bigger than a lot of D1 colleges.
Yeah,
bigger than Alabama, bigger than a couple others. I know that
out there. Bill Ketchens. I told Bill because they called me last week or 2 weeks ago, the advisor, and she said, "Mike, got to looking." They didn't think I'd graduate till the fall because there was one class I needed, but it wasn't going to be offered till the fall next year. She called and said, "Mike, another advisor found a class you took like 8 years ago that they changed the name.
Credit? It's Satisfied Credit? Wow.
They changed the whole name of it.
Oh, that's fortunate.
And so I was talking to Bill Kitchen about it. Bill said, "No, man, they just want to get rid of you. They want you out of the university. Get them out of here." Because I get upset on the parking tickets. I've gotten my share of parking. I think it's a racket, just for the record. But I want to give a shout out. We had our Motlow Mental Health town hall Monday, and the chancellor came in, TBR Chancellor Flora Tidings came in, and Tennessee Mental Health and Substance Abuse came in, Commissioner Matt Yancey, Monty Burks came in, Nathan James with and Samantha McIntyre with Collegiate Recovery, Nathan and Monty Burks, Dr. Monty Burks came in with the faith-based, Governor Bill Lee's faith-based community initiatives. Representative Caleb Hemmer out of Nashville came in, Democrat, great guy, volunteer behavior health, had some presence from the school system, many thanks to my assistant Elsie Peters, and my former assistant Marvin Williamson came in. Marvin's at law school now, but thanks to Gary Winton with Motlow for setting it up, Elliot Pensley for coming out. We had a great discussion. Channel 2 came out, and that young reporter stayed there for 2 hours, I guess.
And I saw that they ran on the
news.
news.
She I wish I could remember her name. Tori something, but not nice young lady. But I got talking with a guy, and he wouldn't ever want to go on the record, but he told me, and I don't want to say the numbers because I could be off. He said, Mike, do you know how many suicides we've had in the school system? I'm not going to say how many. And some reporter, maybe Scott Broden's listening, Dan Eppright, wants to go do a story on the mental health of these students. Man, something's going on, Dave. It's sad. And you think at MTSU where somebody just throws themselves over the third-story building and lands, and probably how many students are in the library around that time? 150?
Probably, and they all saw it, and I can't imagine.
Think of the aftermath of that.
Yeah, and I think it happened from the 4th floor, and I think they jumped. I don't know if I can get too much into it on the air, but they jumped from a place where I used to always go take phone calls.
Yeah,
I'd come out from the quiet area and take a phone call, and then I go back. I think this person jumped from that area where I always took phone calls. I was like, man, that's
it's just
somewhat
sad,
eerie.
I mean, it's just sad. That's where that Marvin Gaye song. If you listen to his song, I mean, it really is kind of hard hitting. I think did his brother get killed in Vietnam, and
Marvin Gaye,
and his mom was up crying. I mean, there was something about Vietnam.
Is that what that song is about? What's going on?
And other issues in his community. I believe that's kind of what was happening. We got a caller.
Yes,
caller, go ahead.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
You called me last week. I didn't know if you wanted to come to the station, but I thought it was really cool what you told me. Why don't you tell? You're not scared to tell the listeners what you told me last week, are you?
No.
Yeah, go ahead and I thought it was really cool what you told me. Well, this is Spencer. Tell listeners who you are and who your dad was.
Yeah, I am. My name is Spencer Hahn. My dad is Sergeant Asbury Fred Hahn. He was deployed to Iraq back in 2003 or 4 and had lost his life back in 2005.
Yeah.
Now, back in 2002, he bought a GMC Sierra 1500 from Mike.
Yep.
And that truck, my grandfather goes to call me 2 weeks ago, and he's like, hey, I'm selling the truck. I want to offer it to you first, and just here you go. Here's the truck.
Yeah.
So I officially own my dad's truck.
Yeah. Have you done much to it?
Just a simple basic maintenance, tires. I had to do tie rod ends and on out or wheel hubs.
I mean, it may have been the same tires when I sold your dad the truck years ago.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not? That's been a long time ago. Well, let me back up on the truck, because you know the story. I trained your dad. I trained your dad to take my place, and when I worked at Nissan, and I was going to day shift. Your dad was taking my place, go night shift, and I ended up getting into it. A guy was giving your dad a hard time, and giving me a hard time, and dude called me a really bad name that you really want to hurt. You want to, it's a terrible cuss word. And I ended up getting into it with a guy back behind Quicksack, big old bully, turned into a big old sissy, by the way, and over your dad. And then I went day shift, and I guess it was 3 years later, I started my car business, and he come over and he says, Mike, I've been deployed to Iraq. And my mom was there. My mom, she would come to the car lot about once a week. She's deceased now, and she'd come by. She heard your dad say, he's going to Iraq. And she said, son, can I pray with you? And we prayed with him. And then I can't remember if it was 6 months later or maybe a year or two later, but I seen where he was killed. And so y'all still had the truck. And but you don't remember your dad, though, do you, Spencer? You were, what, 4 when your dad was deployed?
I would have been 3 whenever he was deployed.
3? So you remember being at a base, though, when your dad left, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. No, your family's really went through a lot. I mean, you lost what? Your dad was it a cousin that was killed on Rocky Fork Road right there by the new schools in a car wreck?
Yeah, over there next to the Stooge Creek schools.
That'd be his niece, correct? His niece.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that was a Brownlow girl, right?
Yes.
Okay. Faith, was it Faith?
Yes, Faith is. So.
She was only what, 16?
Betty's sister, Miss Brownlow, had lost a daughter 2 months before Freddie passed over there off of Rocky Fork Road near the Rocky Fork School.
Yep. That was always kind of a dangerous, it's still a dangerous road today, but it's not as bad as it was years ago. But your dad came in for the funeral. My understanding, he came in for the funeral, and he was killed about a month to 6 weeks later, correct?
Within 2 months.
Yeah. What was cool, what was kind of, even though it was such hardship, I liked your grandfather said. He told me that in front of, I think it was your grandmother, who she battled polio, right? And she was in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And then you had Freddie's sister died of cancer. I remember going to the funeral in Lebanon. But that your family had been through so much turmoil. But what was kind of, I guess you could find some closure, or your grandmother and your grandfather could, because your grandfather told you he's seen the apparition outside the house, right?
Yes.
You know that story. Well,
I do know that story.
Well, your grandmother seemed to be, she was, I don't want to say she was tougher, but she seemed like she could handle your dad's loss more than your dad could. I mean, did you see it that way, or was it just me?
It was either that or she had suppressed her emotions.
Suppressed it, yeah. She was a tough lady, especially in a wheelchair battling polio, man.
I know soon after Connie left, I want to say they did stop going to church right around the time that Connie passed.
Stop, you say?
Yeah, they stopped going to church. Whether it was because of health reasons or just their faith in general, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they had been through a lot.
Yeah. Well, they really have. But I thought it was so neat, though, for you, because I had your folks at the fish fry, or big fish fry there at the hangar, and I remember your grandmother telling me that story that your grandfather seen an apparition. To my understanding of the story, he seen an apparition, and he hadn't got the news of your dad being killed in Iraq, and the next day the military come knocking on the door and told him the sad news about losing your dad. But as a Christian, I mean, I think we can find hope that, that I mean, I know some people may not believe that, but your dad, to be able to, his spirit to travel, I mean, halfway around the world, your dad catches a glimpse of him before he moves on. and other families have had experiences like that as well. But your dad was a great guy, man. He really was. And I was at an event at Nissan here a while back with Habitat for Humanity, and there was several Nissan employees, and I just took a post. How many of y'all know who Freddie Hahn was? Not one of them knew. Really kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you, because I thought, man, this dude leaves Nissan, gets killed in Iraq, and we got the road named after him out front, and then people don't know who he was. People need to know. That's why it's important to, whether it's a bridge or a road. I mean, the bridge at Couchville Pike is named after your dad. If folks go out, not Couchville, Couchville in 840, I should say, But so you excited about the truck?
I am very excited.
Is the paint still good on it, or is it starting to get a little faded?
The paint's still good. Papa had it resprayed, but it's starting to flake off.
That's it.
Because he did kind of cheap out on the paint job.
Oh, he did?
But it is
Cheap
decent
out.
for what it is.
Yeah. You still got the factory wheels on it?
Yep.
Yeah, did you see me? I think I tagged a few people on Facebook the other day. I said, there's a country song in here somewhere. There's a country song with this. Your granddad giving you the truck. And, there's, what's that old song about the Corvette? Riding with Sergeant.
Sergeant Sergeant Malone.
Yeah, there's a country song in here somewhere. But, yeah, you and I went out there and seen your granddad. What was that, 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Roughly, yeah. It was a few years ago.
Yeah. Because remember, you bought that Mercedes off of me, and you made a killing on it. You remember that?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, you bought that Mercedes off of me. I think you made like $1,000 off of it. Good for you. I'm proud of you, though.
Yeah. I went through and fixed it, and then something else came up with it, and it was.
Yeah, you got
long gone from there.
You got some skills, brother. That's good. Now, if you get a chance, I think we're going to do let's see, Daryl Mackin called me the other day. We were talking about the tag. We run the Jeep license plate, so the proceeds benefit a soldier's child. It's another little weird miracle. It's pretty cool. I think $150,000 a year is going to that organization to sell that new Jeep license plate. But we want to do another plate called a soldier's child. And he got have you seen his new Jeep, by the way?
He sent me pictures of it just the other day because we were talking about it for a work event.
What's that Jeep? What's that called? Is it Rubicon?
Rubicon.
Pickup?
Not the Patriot. It's
the Gladiator?
Is it Gladiator?
Gladiator.
That's
Gladiator,
it.
yeah.
My Kurdish buddies hooked him up. Auto World of Smyrna, Z and Baywar, Dilshad, and Rayover hooked him up with it. That's a nice Jeep, but I was talking to him, and I talked about coincidences, and he said you text him while him and I were talking. That was kind of cool, But I was saying we need to get with the car show people, Mike and Christy
and Tracy, yeah, Mid-10 Hot Rodders
at Steak and Shake, because the road's named after your dad, Sergeant Asbury Hahn Way, and I hope to get Daryl out there, and we're going to tell a story about your dad and a soldier's child, and that's a big organization now. He's in Texas. He's going to Texas now.
So I don't know how much he would like me sharing of it because it's not my place.
Mm-hmm.
But I know his plan for a soldier's child is to have 4 different regions.
Yeah.
So that way we have a region down here in in the South, Tennessee, all of us down in here. We're going to have a northern, a northeast, northwest, and then a north, and then a southwest.
Yes.
He's going to divide the United States into 4 different regions, and he's going to have those kids in those regions just stay in those regions. That way, one, it's more affordable for the kids to come, but as well as more kids can come because it's closer.
Yeah.
And staff and everything else within that whole funded.
Yeah.
Just makes it.
Oh, Daryl's. Yeah, Daryl. If folks don't know the background, Daryl was a culinary arts teacher over there. Is it Blackman High School, correct? Blackman. And he's the one that founded A Soldier's Child in 2008 after, if I've got it correct, after his neighbor's son, Marine Staff Sergeant Marcus Golzinski, was killed in Iraq, and he felt led to start that nonprofit. And I mean, he's touched not only your life, your brother's life, but hundreds, if not thousands, of lives across the nation of folks who have lost their life in the military. And I know I've seen it personally touch your life, and you know, he was excited to try to do that little video over at Steak and Shake. You know, we had Marcia Blackburn over there, and the senator 6 years ago, and I told her that story. And because you remember, she took the time out to meet your dad and walk around, and she got a little. I could tell she got a little teared up in her eyes when I was kind of telling her the story about it. Well, Spencer, thank you for being a good young man and staying out of trouble. You know, you don't drink or nothing, do you?
If I do, it's once in a blue moon.
Well, don't drink those blue moons. And blue moons get you in trouble. Okay, and stay away from the tobacco and all them other funny cigarettes. Stay away from all that stuff. I'm serious. That stuff will get you in trouble, man. No, don't be doing that. Just think about your grandma and think about what your dad would want you to do, and your dad be proud of you. Yeah, your dad was a good guy. He really was. You know, I worked side by side with him. He never once talked about all those awards and medals he won. And I tell you what kind of got to me at the funeral, they started naming off all these accolades he had and awards and medals. And that kind of got to me because I thought, man, I worked with this dude for a few weeks and he never once said nothing about it, you know. But thank you, Spencer. And reach out to Daryl because we need help selling that tag. The Jeep plate was super successful, you know, with Wendy Lloyd's efforts, but this the Soldier's Child tag. It's going to take a Herculean effort to sell 1,000. We got to sell 1,000 of those plates, but I think the Jeep can help it. And I know I think he had a good meet with Mayor Joe Carr today, and he's going to meet with a few other officials. But thank you so much, Spencer, for what you do, and thanks for calling in, okay?
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Have a good one, Spencer. Let's take a quick break, Connor. We'll be right back.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available at select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Mike and Felicia Sparks, owner of the Vanity Zone Salon, want to invite you to stop in for your next haircut or color. Their stylists Michelle, Tori, Tracy, Brandy, Sarah, and Gail offer the best creative cuts and color for all ages, for men and women. The Vanity Zone is located at 732 Nissan Drive in Smyrna, to the right of the Crystals Restaurant. To look and feel your best, visit the Vanity Zone Salon today. Call 615-355-1721 to book your next appointment.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
I just really appreciate Danny and his whole team. I always feel like I'm going to get great service and the right outcome.
You just don't find any better people.
He's always been very good.
We've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
All right, we're back. You know, these drone sightings, I want to get into that. I've got a couple of people I've reached out to. You know, all of them don't want to go on the air. They don't want to talk about this. But one person says, and this person's an air traffic controller, and they probably don't want me. I know I can't say their names, but this person, let me read it. Shoot them down. This is a female. Why haven't we done anything about them yet? They need to shoot them down before they come ashore. It's not like we don't already know where they're coming from. Makes no sense. Anyways, another friend of mine, he may not want me to mention his name. I better not say his name. He's probably listening right now. I love you, Chris, if you're listening, brother. But I can't say his last name. He says, but what he says, he said, man, these things aren't drones. He said, these are not drones. He said, these are UAPs. He said, we don't know what they are, UFOs. He said, drones don't maneuver like that, you know.
And they don't have the red and green landing lights.
Yeah, that's what throws me off. And this is another undercover agent that I know from another state. Let me see what he's saying. He just says crazy. I don't know. First, I thought it's China or Iran, maybe Biden, exporting the Biden administration's transition out. Second thought, it's a false flag from our government to impede Trump transition. And then my other friend of mine, he says, don't shoot at them. He said, man, you can't shoot these things. And
if you don't get to the bottom of you,
well, it's a big crime too. You know, if you shoot at them. He's this other guy who I really think very highly of. He just says, let's see. He just says it's a very dangerous situation around the airports. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, something's going on. We're going to go to this Fox News report real quick. Go ahead, Connor.
For more on these still unexplained drone sightings, let's bring in retired U.S. Army Colonel Joe Bacino. Joe, you were a spokesman for CENTCOM, right? I mean, if the military was somehow involved in flying these drones, shouldn't somebody come out and say so?
Somebody should say so. I think right now what you're seeing coming out of the Department of Defense is just not believable. There's two statements coming out of the Pentagon. One, we have no idea what these things are, and two, these things are not a threat. Okay, those two statements are in conflict with one another. If you know they're not a threat, then you know what they are.
Right, and you know, in these days when the Ukrainians and others have honed the ability to arm drones, to use, you know, high explosives on drones, you know, the fact that these things are just flying willy-nilly around military bases in this country is not very comforting.
No, it's not. And if you think about, John, U.S. Northern Command, they're based in Colorado. This is the American command responsible for securing American airspace. They have AI-based intercept. They have observation based on commercial satellites all over the country. They have a $12 billion air defense system over the country. I just don't believe that they don't know what's flying for weeks and weeks over American airspace, over residential areas, over the Picatinny Arsenal, which is an American military research lab in New Jersey.
Yeah, it was disturbing enough when that Chinese spy balloon was, you know, floating over our country for a week or so. But these are even more sophisticated and probably more troublesome, just because, you know, we heard one New Jersey senator say that New Jersey sent one of its choppers after the thing, and it turned off its lights and disappeared. That doesn't sound like it's operated by somebody friendly.
Right. It's clear here that the Pentagon has some information, and I think maybe we just keep in mind here that this is the same Pentagon that back in January lied about the location and condition of the U.S. Secretary of Defense, that lied about the conditions on the ground in Ukraine, that lied about this Chinese spy balloon for about a week. So I think that we can't really be comfortable with the information we're receiving here. I think, in my mind, it is unlikely that this is coming from overseas. I think given the size of these drones and given the likelihood that these are piloted by line of sight, it may be piloted from the water, but I don't think this is coming from hundreds of miles away. I just don't think, drones of this size could come from hundreds of miles away because it's probably also powered by lithium batteries. I think this is coming somewhere close to the New Jersey, somewhere close to the coast.
The governor of New York has taken notice. This all started with ordinary citizens getting a little upset at what they were seeing, but now the governor has taken notice. Kathy Hochul put out a statement saying, "This has gone too far. I'm calling on Congress to pass the Counter-UAS Authority Security, Safety, and Reauthorization Act. This bill would reform legal authorities to counter UAS and strengthen the FAA's oversight of drones, and would extend counter UAS activities to select state and local law enforcement agencies. The Biden administration must step in by directing additional federal law enforcement to New York and the surrounding region to ensure the safety of our critical infrastructure and our people." It's kind of interesting when, the governor of one of the most largest, most populous states in the country is kind of prodding the Biden administration to get involved here.
Right. Yeah, there's also things that we can do. We can jam these. We can bring these things down. We can use.
That's what's y'all's thoughts? This is some crazy stuff going on.
It's there's a lot of speculation, online and then, face to face with other people. A couple of, like the Joe Schmo opinions that I've been reading. I mean, granted, these aren't news. These are just regular, everyday people posting what they think they are on social media. And some of the stuff, it's like I've done, my little bit of like digging into it, and it's just something we don't know. And frankly, let me rephrase that. We probably do know what this is, and by we I mean the DoD, the United States government. They know what these things are. They're just not going to want to tell us for some reason.
Here's what's interesting. Where I was talking to Chris last night. I'm not going to give his last name. He's probably listening tonight. And I see Chris as an expert on drones. I mean, he flies drones, and he's in law enforcement. But here's what we were talking last night. What's wild about this is it's not just East Coast. This is West Coast.
It's happened on the West Coast
and
too.
They've even spotted them in Tennessee.
Really?
Have y'all heard that?
That's news to me.
You think that'd be Oak Ridge if they're going to fly over a military? It'd be Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, or Air National Guard, Nashville, B&A, or even right here in our very own backyard in Tennessee National Guard in Smyrna.
But this is it can't be Iran. Like
what makes you think so?
Well, it's West Coast too, and East Coast. I don't see how they can. And he made a good point. My buddy made a good point. He said, "Man, they're using old technology with their fighters." He said, "How are they going to have this kind of technology?" So this is. I mean, really, this is probably one of the. I don't say greatest stories, but one of the most intense stories of possibly the whole year or the past 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of crazy when our own military didn't do anything. I mean, it's very alarming.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, DOD, U.S. military, they know what these things are. They just don't want to tell us for some reason. Same thing with,
why would they have lights on?
That's
if they're nefarious,
light, right?
And they
red
want
and
to
green.
be hidden. Why would they have lights on?
No idea.
What do you think, Roger? You look like a drone expert.
You want the old school.
Answer what was my answer
earlier.
Talking about. Yeah, I brought up.
I'd shoot it down. You look at it, you know where it come from, and everything you need to know.
Well, I was telling Marty the other day, Marty Love, we're talking about the chili cook-off and the car show and everything we got January 4th.
I mean, Marty agrees with me.
Well, I bought a drone. I bought a drone a few months ago, but I don't know how to fly it. And I thought, well, maybe we could fly it over at Sam Davis' home. And I thought, well, no, I got the
We found one over there one day.
FAA over there, and I thought, and Marty goes, "You better not fly nothing right now," you know. And I mean, I'm not going to fly it over there, but
we had a drone flying.
I'd
over
love to get
us.
it with the cars.
I found one crashed. We found one crashed on the site there, a small one, but I think.
What's a serious crime if you shoot them though?
Yeah. Well, the government take a chance. I'm sure they'd get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but these things are size of cars, right?
Hey,
SUVs.
drop it in a field.
But is it true? Have they? Man, there's so many deep fakes. And tell folks what deep fakes are. They may not
Deep
know.
fake is, well, people don't necessarily need to do deep fakes right now because AI does them way better. Deep fakes were essentially like prototype AI, sort of like voiceovers.
And you don't know what's real.
Somebody could take your face, Mike, and put it on him.
It's scary.
So
and then have you saying something negative.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this
saying something. Yeah,
it's kind of it really is frightening.
But overall, I mean, the stuff that I've seen online with like deepfake / AI, it's being used for like humor. Like it's like that's pretty
some
funny.
Of it is
yeah,
kind of.
But some, like, I know what you mean.
But
like it's risk.
This
like,
is serious.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's really concerning. You know, I mean, aren't y'all worried about this?
No.
You're not. Connor, what about you? Connor's over on his phone. He's you playing Minecraft or something, ain't you?
I mean, I listen.
You know?
I listen to stories like y'all do. I'm intrigued, listening. But I'm like, when it comes down to it, not at all.
I think we need to be concerned about it.
Oh,
I
mean, I was just telling him during break. It's another one of these Joe Schmo opinions that that I read.
Yeah.
Somebody says like, he's like, I think these things are like, I'm quoting this person on social media. He said, I think these things are outfitted with something to detect nuclear isotopes because they're looking for that word that I'm not going to say on the air.
Well,
but
it could be a false flag.
Possibly.
You know, and look at the balloon. Look at the balloon situation last year.
we did a balloon a big one back in 60s. You seen the ones they make nowadays? You can buy at fireworks stands. You heat it up. They're like paper.
Yeah.
We used to see them all the time in the 60s.
Y'all flew them?
We make them ourselves.
Oh, really? What'd you do with them?
They would just disappear.
Blow up. Float off. Yeah.
Have nothing else
You
to
remember
do?
W.E. Carter was the fire chief? Do you remember him?
I'm not. That's before my time.
He came up to the house. Somebody had told on us, my cousins.
They let balloons go.
He asked with a string going and all that. Yeah, we just let them rip. Had fire on the bottom of them.
Really?
That's what flamed. But yeah, it was Solox alcohol. You put it on the bottom and get the balsa wood.
Oh
these
my
little,
gosh!
It's like 5 and dime. Do the balsa wood
Terrible.
frame.
Back where y'all were.
Tissue paper. No,
y'all smoking them funny cigarettes.
No, that was before then.
Before that. Before
Make
that.
our own M80s, man, back in the day.
Oh yeah, they were dangerous.
You can make your own.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know if you need to be saying this on the radio.
Well, statute of limitation, man. It's over 50 years
you
now.
mentioned, before we lose train of thought, the January 4th event that we've got going on.
Oh, yeah,
Saturday
the
home.
chili. Hello, Aunt Dot. I told her I'd tell her
Oh,
hello.
yeah. Hey, Aunt Dot, how you doing?
Yes.
How old is she?
She's 95.
95 years young.
And the guy.
When's her birthday?
It's 25th of February. It's actually the same as Miss Carolyn Peebles.
Is it really? Yeah.
Yes.
We lost Carolyn, which passed, 6 weeks, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but their birthday was on the same day.
Same day.
But she's actually 3 months older than our oldest speaker. It's going to be at the Chili Cook-Off this year, which is Charles Jones, and he's 95. But I'm going to give you all a rundown. I'm going to give you a quick rundown what our schedule is for the Chili Cook-Off. It's going to be Saturday, January the 4th.
Yep.
Men of Hope. The Men of Hope's going to have a prayer breakfast from 7:30 to 9. And then we're going to have a list of speakers. Oh, also included there is of course the Mid-10 Hot Rodders. We're having a food drive, and we're going to have bluegrass music this time.
Yeah, Paul Lamb and
and I've
Derek
already
Rayburn.
I've already seen them. They got a bass fiddle with them this time. It really sounds good.
Bass what?
Bass fiddle?
Yeah.
Oh.
Really sounds good.
Bass fiddle.
The old bass. You ever seen them play the old
Upright
bluegrass
bass?
band?
You mean an upright bass?
No, we used to call them bass fiddles.
Oh.
That's country. I'm 70, man. You're what, 25, 26, 23? Yeah.
I still know what a fiddle is, but upright bass.
You know the difference between a violin and a fiddle, right?
A violin has strings, and a fiddle has strangs.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but we're going to have Dr. Murphy starting off at 10 o'clock, and he's going to be talking about Sam Davis Association and a little bit about Sam. Commissioner Pettis Reed at 10:30, Miss Frances Victory Odom, 11 o'clock. I believe she's going to be talking about that Enon Springs
meeting house.
Yeah,
that the Yankees burned down.
Yes, and Mary Watkins from the African American Heritage Society, she's going to be speaking at 11:30, and then the Bluegrass is going to be 12 to 1. And Johnny John's the old
Bluegrass 12 to 1.
Okay. And we're putting them in the middle of it. That way, last year they started to get before a lot of people got there.
Yeah.
This year we're putting them, and they're going to do it in the auditorium there.
Okay.
And Johnny John's, you know the old John's King home down there?
Yep.
It's actually called Liberty
House.
Hill.
Liberty Hill?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's going to be talking about that. And I want to listen to that one. I don't know anything about that. And Joyce Leonard.
Did he live there?
Yes, he actually lived there. It's Frank Johns, and Ernie
Still
Johns'
got some
younger
bullet holes
brother.
in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's going to tell that whole story. I can't wait to hear this one.
Yeah, cool.
And it's Joyce Leonard from the Rutherford County Historical Society. She's going to be talking about Stony Lonesome.
Yep. That's where Samson Keeble, first black lawmaker, came from.
Right. And the person that lived there right before the lake come in was a guy named
Short.
No, Smith. What was his name? It's her grandfather, Robert Smith, I think.
Okay. Then Jerry Short lived there.
Yeah, that's Jerry Short. That's Jerry Short's granddaughter that lived there.
Okay.
But anyway, I forgot his first name. But anyway, this Charles Jones, he's going to be talking about this. He wrote a book about old Jefferson. He went to school
Mr.
there.
Charles Jones.
And the main character in this book is Jerry Short and Joyce's granddad. And
Really?
She said it's kind of part fiction.
Did they hang out? I'm assuming growing up or something.
His granddad, they had that store, and he said, and he's going to be the hero in this story. But his his granddaughter is actually going to be the speaker right before him. He doesn't know that.
It's fascinating. Well, it's the Charles Jones, like we shared, I think last week before. I got to interview him here a while back. He remembers going down Jefferson Pike before Seward Air Force Base was constructed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like surreal to me.
Yeah.
You know, that we still have somebody alive that remembers that.
Oh, yeah, and he still drives, man. Hey, and he went to the old Jefferson reunion, and he followed me over. But he drives.
Wow.
Does better than me. And John DeBerry is going to be there about 2:30.
Yep.
And around 3 o'clock, we're going to have a proclamation. It's going to be presented by Jenny Williams. And 2:30, a proclamation presented by Marty Luffman. And then about 3:30 is actually the cutoff time when you bring your chili. And 4 o'clock, the judging will be done. You get all the free chili you want. And the contestants is capped at 20. But if you get there late, we'll still eat your chili.
Yeah.
And we still really appreciate
we talked about
you.
that. So if you get there late, like, who was it? Was it my friend Holly Butler, Mark Carpenter, Danny Brewer? I think they brought him late.
Maybe, but they still may have got judged. I can't
Tory
remember.
Caudell probably had the best chili, but they chose not to enter. You remember
that the one, that big kettle out there?
Man, they brought their own.
Oh, is that the one they had out there in the kettle cooking?
Yeah.
I tried that. That was really good.
Man, they knocked it out. But I guess what we're saying, it's got to cap at 20 for the judges.
Yeah, the judges. And we're going to have real judges judging it.
Real judges. Yeah, real judges.
And
Brittany Stevens.
Well, I hadn't heard from Brittany. She did it last year. And
if Jimmy Turner's listening, Jimmy call me.
I mean, Judge Fan, they're the ones going to do it. If we can get them all. We may not get them. We'll get somebody.
And Carl Boyes are back up.
Yeah. And,
how's he doing? He had back surgery.
I hadn't talked to him. He hadn't been voluntold to do this part about the judging. Yeah, volunteered. I'll give him
we had a great time last year.
Carl's a good guy. But anyway, it's going to be a great time, man, and it's for a good cause. And like I said, Mike actually, he orchestrates this. He won't take any kind of credit.
Well, you were the one organizing.
No. But you're the one that does this. It's a great thing, and I think last year we had about 200 people cross through there.
It was good.
What's the prize for the winner?
Well, the winner is $100, and was it 50 for
a second,
and 25 at third, and I think you're giving out participation trophies this year. Oh, no.
Well, I thought about it. I put that on Facebook, and I knew somebody would get triggered. Andy Johnson.
Right off the bat, somebody did.
You know what's weird? I don't know if it's called being. I don't know if it's like being psychic, but I said to myself, "Who's going to get triggered?" And I was like, "It's going to be Andy Johnson." And he commented.
I saw it.
Yeah, it was funny how you kind of know who's going to respond. But I said, "Brother, you took my bait." But no, I really thought about doing. I mean, because I know it sounds weird, but I just appreciate people for participating.
Yeah, it's
really
really
a lot
fun.
of trouble to make chili and bring them.
And it's kind of cold time of the year, and the chili was so great last year, man.
You know, Marsha Blackburn took second place. I mean, she wasn't able to make it, but it was her campaign guy brought her recipe. But then I heard, well, I better not say. I better say, sometimes there's rumors that people go to Wendy's and order their chili and carry. I've heard that's happened. And then what's the chili you get at? What's it called? The cans?
Campbell's?
Hormel.
Yeah.
That's really happened in a national chili contest. A guy did that and won, and he got called out for it.
But anyway,
Or Skyline Chili from the Midwest.
Oh yeah, but like I said, man, and we got all kind of a list of people we're inviting, you know, and like I
Have
said,
you called the mayor yet? We hope Mayor Reed will come out.
Yeah, Mike, if you don't mind, can you give her a holler just to come out and
you call her.
Yeah, and yeah.
Well, if she's listening, we wanted her to kind of open it up at 10.
Yeah. If you could say a couple words.
Yeah.
Mike you just got volunteered by.
All told.
Yeah.
Well, but our prayer breakfast, we had.
She may be gone or anything, but yeah.
But Mark Lewis.
And
Mike Serenowski
and Coach Rakes was there last
Nick
year.
Corbett.
You remember that?
Man, that was
Bud
touching
Rakes.
when he come walking up on that walker.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that really was touching for me.
Yeah, and we had a great time, man. Everybody's looking
paddle
forward.
you?
No,
Boy, he busted my tail.
Mr. Mack didn't even paddle me, man.
Really?
Yeah. I never got in trouble in high school.
You must have been one of the goody guys.
I never was there.
You was skipping out.
Skipped all.
How can you get paddled if you're not there?
No, Mr. Rakes was just he's always a great guy.
Mr. Mack would call me my mom's maiden name in school. She had him in school, my mom.
Really?
And I think she was a little bit of trouble.
Wow.
And he said, "Hey, Hunter, come here." And I go,
Mr. Rakes paddled. I think he paddled me, my son, my wife.
Family
I
affair.
think my father-in-law
did
may
Felicia
got
get-
paddled.
did
She
Felicia
got
get one?
paddled in school. She would die if she didn't sit on the radio.
"Oh, we will talk about it on the radio about Felicia
it
getting
was,
paddled."
she got paddled. It was over some girl or something getting in a fight or something. But anyway,
Over
she
you?
would
Was it over you,
die.
Mike? Was it over you?
Nah, I don't want to say it on the radio. But anyways, but I believe in paddling.
Oh, I do too.
Connor, what do you think? You think we need to bring back paddling?
In schools?
Yeah.
For some people, probably.
You think?
Yeah.
You know?
Some folks do need to get.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
I haven't got paddled before, but it was like in first, second, third, fourth. But I was around people in school with Steve Johns, people like that, Jefferson. We was always in all of us would go get one. You know, You had a choice: paddling or staying for recess.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna go out. Do we take the
I
paddle?
never got paddled because I was in ROTC. Butt chewing by Sergeant Major Nelson was more than enough to be
But it goes back to that male role model.
Yeah.
That male role model. Mr. Rakes, I mean, what I like about Mr. Rakes, it wasn't, I mean, seriously, both times he paddled me, it wasn't even my fault. It was seriously other people's fault that got me in trouble. Seriously. And he busted my
I didn't even start it. I didn't start it.
Mr. Rakes, I mean, I didn't, the guy was cheating off me and he paddled me for it. And, anyways, and he said, get over.
How did the guy do on it?
Cheating.
Cheated off of you.
You know what he said? This is so cool. Mr. Rakes said, I brought this up like 6 years ago. We were leaving Rotary and AC Puckett was standing with him. And AC, says passed on now, a great guy. He was one of our founders of Rotary. And I was telling Mr. Rakes, Mr. Rakes, neither one of them times were my fault. The kid was cheating off me. And Mr. Rakes, you know what he says? He said, yeah, I knew he was cheating off of you because he answered, I don't know either. Like multiple choice.
Hey, but
I was like, wow, Mr. Rakes. I looked at him like, did this really happen? Because he had me believing it, but his mind was so quick to do that. But here's what he did and any teachers out there listening, I'm sure can attest to this, or coaches. He come up to me in the hall. Senior year is a tough year. He come up, put his arm around me. He says, Mike, just want to tell you, I appreciate how I've always heard you a very polite young man. And he said, keep up the good work. Those are what I call words of affirmation.
Yep.
And these young men, we got to catch these young people, man. It's, the suicides I heard in the school system are appalling. Maybe some newspaper reporter would go investigate this stuff. It's off the rails. I'm not saying paddling's going to bring, because you don't know what the home life is going on and the amount of homeless kids that's out there and the amount of drug problems, but it done me some good, and every teacher that paddled me, they were my favorite teachers.
Well, it must have done Coach Rakes well because Mr. Mack paddled him twice. He
Oh,
told us that last year at our 50-year reunion. So
I sat
it
with
must
him
have
at
did
our
him some
reunion.
good. Yeah, but he's great, man.
While the rest of them are drinking and dancing, I'm chilling with Mr. Rakes.
Donnie Osmond.
I offered him $1,000 for his paddle. He wouldn't take it. I said, I'll give you $1,000 for that paddle. He
We got that paddle, don't we?
He's going to put it in a museum. I think they're going to put it in a museum.
Put it in a museum.
Well,
put it in the
folks,
truck case.
It's been fun. Got a lot of craziness going on in this world with drones, UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them. But like my buddy said, they're not drones. He said these things are something else. He said they don't know what they are. But he says these aren't the drones in the conventional meth.
I
and we
believe
call
you on
drugs.
that. I believe you on that. Yeah.
So thank you, Chris, for your feedback. If you're listening, brother, which I know you are, hope you're feeling better. This guy was kind of sick with the flu, so appreciate what you do out there, brother. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Roger.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Connor. Folks, we'll catch up with you next week.